Connie Reeves, and I am the executive producer of the Get Money, Make Money, Save Money Momentum Radio Show. I am so glad that you took time out of your busy schedule to tune in today and just listen to us have a conversation about how we can show you how to save some money, or maybe you would like to make some money. I'm happy to introduce my co-host, one on the East Coast of the country, where I am located, Mr. Omara Bird, and our other co-host who is in the field, Mr. Kevin Gantos, bringing all the money updates from the West Coast. How are you, Kevin Gantos?
I am doing fantastic, Connie. Thank you so much for having me on today's show. I'm excited about today's listeners and, more importantly, be able to give them some insights. So thank you for having me on. Business is great. And all is well. Thank you.
And Mr. Bird, how's your business doing?
Business is definitely doing well. I'm anxious to get started with today's show and excited about being on another show with the listeners, getting some great content, and excited to be on with you, Miss Connie Reeves, as well as Mr. Kevin Gantos. How are you doing, Mr. Gantos? Glad to be on the show again with you guys, talking about topics that will get people in position to make money, save money, and get some money.
Well, we have a lot of females, women, young ladies who are interested in making some extra money. What we want to talk about is there are lessons for the fearless female entrepreneur. That's an article that I was reading, and I'm always reading different articles to gather information for our show so that we can make it interesting to you. And this article I was reading says that as female entrepreneurs and business leaders, we are often regarded as fearless. We've successfully battled away the outdated stereotypes and overcome obstacles that would derail many a man without even breaking a sweat. Yet under that fearlessness, we face a myriad of challenges and difficult decisions, just like any other entrepreneur or CEO. Sometimes those challenges are the same as our male peers, and sometimes they are not. As a female CEO and entrepreneur as myself, this author said that she's relied on 5 key lessons to help her through these challenges and keep her fearless. One is to dive in. When starting something new, we tend to be more cautious and analytical, which can lead to us overthinking every detail in our quest for perfection. As an entrepreneur, you have to accept that the timing is never going to be perfect. There is always going to be more research and testing to do, more edits, etc. Sometimes you just have to take a deep breath and dive in. And I know that's true with myself. Being in a entrepreneur job, or even being, well, more so in corporate America, you're pretty much told what to do. You come to work, you're supposed to do this, you have your assignments, you do this, you do that. You can't be as creative as you would like to be, even though you may be working in a creative environment. But when you're an entrepreneur, you have to just, take a deep breath and go for it. You've got to have your own momentum. If everything around you is falling apart, you still have to dive in. Wouldn't you say that's true, Kevin?
Absolutely. When I look at anybody that's out there starting a business, It's really having the vision ahead of you, knowing where you're going, being excited about it, and really having the end in mind.
Yes, and she was also saying that you have to get out of your comfort zone, whether it's a career change or just forcing yourself to start making cold calls. Pushing beyond your comfort zone will up your confidence and help you overcome your fear. And I know, Mr. Bird, Omara, you work as a coach, and I'm sure that you have to coach people or coax people even into picking up the phone and making the call when they have their own business.
Oh, absolutely. That's in my opinion, especially for myself, was one of the hardest transitions for me, coming from an employee mindset to a self-employed mindset. You get so used to, as you said earlier, being in the comfort zone. And when you're in the employee mindset, you're motivated by someone else motivating you. When you go to a self-employed mindset and a business owner, you have to be self-motivated. And it's probably one of the hardest things to do.
Yes, and that is so absolutely true. I know that we have some listeners on here who are single moms or stay-at-home wives, or you could be a husband listening, and, we just want to talk about something that we have found as essential service brokers. We have found something that can help you have extra income in your pocket. Like myself, I am a homemaker. My husband is the worker. He is the head of household. He works. I stay at home, and I am the entrepreneur. I run the family business, and I became an essential service broker because of the wonderful products and services that I found with a particular company, that I saw that as a successful early retired executive, because I was laid off during the crash, and I wanted to have something to do, and I wanted to be able to be my own boss, and I was able to do that as an essential service broker. I was reading another article that said that statistics indicate that 82% of women in the United States who make $100,000 a year or more accomplished it through direct sales. And as an essential service broker, that's where opportunity that I have encountered with direct sales. My co-hosts also are essential service brokers.
It's so simple from the standpoint of all we really do is educate people how to turn their bills into a paycheck. It's that simple. All we do is teach people how to turn their bills into a paycheck. And when we think about in today's economy, and even the wage earner out there, understanding that having your own business is the ultimate tax strategy. So, think about it. The surest way to reduce your taxes is to convert personal expenditures into allowable deductions. But the difference is now when I pay my bill, I actually get paid a commission from that bill. So in essence, I actually get paid now and be aligned with multi-billion-dollar companies that are reputable and provide really, obviously, value to the marketplace. And that's what I'm most excited about.
Absolutely. And Mr. Bird, how would you speak to a female who is possibly looking to make some extra money?
Okay, I'm going to answer that question for you, but before I answer that question, I have to bring up something that you said not too long ago, because I was highly offended by what you said, and I definitely have to bring it up. So, you said your husband works a job and you are just the homemaker. That maybe true in your mind mentally, but you run a radio show. That's a whole lot of work. So as your co-host, I'm not going to let you act like running a radio show is nothing and you just a homemaker. Homemaker is like 2 jobs. Running a radio show is another job. Then you're essential service broker. So you got about 4 jobs to your husband's 1 job. So I had to bring that up before we go on because you just made it seem like he works and I just stay home and run the house. Running the show is a hard thing to do. But back to speaking to the females who are maybe looking to be an essential service broker. Me, myself, personally, I have a lot of female partners who are essential service brokers. And this type of business model is probably the best business model I think that is out there for a female. It's about building a team. And one thing about females, they are a lot more nurturing than men.
Right.
Our patience level as a man is very low. Level of tolerance is very low because as a male, we look at things a lot more aggressively and a lot more like a shark about the money and the bottom line. Whereas females, when it comes to building a team, they are a lot more nurturing, they're a lot more understanding, and they tend to build stronger teams with a lot more camaraderie. So for a female who is looking to be an essential service broker, I think it puts them in the best position for a lot of females who that is their actual natural instinct. This is a great opportunity for them to be able to use the skills that they naturally have instinctively as a woman who usually bears children and nurtures children and is very loving.
Right, that's so true. And the thing about it is that from my recollection, when my parents were raising me, my dad, he was the one going to work. And all of a sudden, I saw different people ringing the bell, saying Avon is calling, Tupperware, Amway, and my mom started having these different parties for her friends. The ladies would get together during the day while the men were at work, and they would have buy stuff from each other. Well, I had no idea that it was direct sales, network marketing, but that's exactly what it was. They were building a network, and it was a very successful thing, and I believe it was based on the female who was at home, because they had all these commercials on showing these different industries that had people ringing the doorbell. I think the only thing I remember that was male was the guy with the Kirby vacuum cleaners or something, But then along came Mary Kay, and that is very successful. The pink Cadillac, and So, Kevin, do you recall those things possibly being nurtured for women?
Absolutely. I mean, you made a statistic, over 80% of the women that make 6 figures in the United States is through direct sales. And as Omara had mentioned, they have the nurturing capabilities because, in essence, you're building a family unit. And so you need both parents, typically in most parts, to be able to build, or at least both personalities, because I was raised by a single mother, and my mother played both roles.
Yes.
But the ability to be able to do that. So when I think about reputable companies like Tupperware and Avon, they literally became household names because they were built out of the household, where I believe men in a lot of cases are more reserved on that, but the posture's different. But when I look at the ability to say being raised by a single mom and seeing all of that, incredible companies, as you said, Connie, very reputable, multi-billion-dollar corporation that have helped a lot of lives in the process. All they did was alleviate the middleman through socializing and networking amongst the women of that day when I was being raised.
And Mr. Bird, what would you say about being, and you yourself being, an essential service broker?
I think it was one of the biggest changes that I could have made, and probably one of my best business decisions. I used to say one of my best decisions till my wife looked at me sideways, because getting married was probably my best decision. But it was definitely one of my best business decisions to become an essential service broker, and it actually fit my personality. I'm a, spontaneous, get up and go type person, people person, and I really flourished when I got into this business. One of the biggest, I think, benefits was the self-development that I got being an essential service broker, actually becoming a better person, and actually being a business owner before I got into being an essential service broker already. It actually taught me things that helped me to better my other businesses based on the principles that I learned being an essential service broker. So it helped me in so many ways, not only in my personal family life, because coming home in a better mood creates a better family life. Happy wife, happy life, so they say. But
true.
Also, it's absolutely true.
I agree with that
one. Absolutely. But also just the financial betterment that it created for me and my family, because I've done so many jobs. The last thing I did is I was driving a tractor trailer. And, I knew when I left that job that I couldn't tell my boss, put my name on that truck, and when my son gets old enough and he gets his CDL, I want him to have this truck. So I couldn't will him my job. And that's what it's all about for me, is creating a better future for my future generations.
Yes, and if you would like to have more detailed information about how you can become an essential service broker, how you can make some extra cash, how you can save some money, also, please go to www.mrsconniereeves.com. That's www.mrsconniereeves, as in Victory, ES.com. And I was reading this other article in Black Enterprise that was talking about single moms making extra money. It said that it goes without saying that the work of single moms is never done. For single moms looking to make a few extra dollars but can't pick up another full-time job due to their packed schedule of basketball games and PTA meetings, these side hustles may be worth trying. And the number one hustle, as they call it, is direct sales. It says, as a mom, you have access to so many people, from your children's teachers to their friends' parents. Take advantage of your network and try direct sales. Find a company such as Mary Kay or this jewelry, Azul Sky, that promotes entrepreneurial opportunities and lets everyday people sell their products for a percentage of the cut. It says Lisa Nicole Cloud of Married to Medicine became a self-made millionaire through direct sales. And I want to get back to something you were saying, Kevin, about your mom. You said that your mom worked a job and ran a business. Tell us a little bit more about that story.
Absolutely. When I was 9 years old, which was a few years back, my mother and father split, absolutely. And she went off into a man's world, and she was a dietitian for a school system, went back to school, and really was an entrepreneur at heart. And then she started opening up a chain of restaurants and had partnerships with a couple of men, and then, of course, went from there to opening up a woman's boutique. And she did this all on her own dime and her own time, and just made all that happen. So she truly had the entrepreneurial spirit, and she segued from the job into her business. And her business, as one of my mentors said best, Jim Rohn, he simply said, you work part-time, you work full-time at your business to pay your bills and part-time at your business to build your fortune. And eventually you're working full-time at your business building your fortune. For my mother was get out there and get it done, a lot like you were talking about earlier, Connie, about getting rid of that fear. Fear, obviously, the acronym is false evidence appearing real, taking that step of faith, getting out there. And the beautiful part about direct sales, which I really like a lot, especially being an essential service broker, is the ability. It's a minimal investment of both money and time And it really is a great launching pad. As you heard, Lisa Nicole Cloud became a self-made millionaire in direct sales, and now, of course, has her own reality show. And that really is what's amazing about what I've identified about our industry and what it's really done. It's actually the vehicle and the launch pad for a lot of people once they built that residual, once they build that cash flow, to get onto the things that they're really passionate about. And because this business has a way of funding those pursuits. And that's what my mother did.
Yes, definitely. That is such an amazing story because we like for people to know that we are not saying, oh, you need to just quit your job and have a business, run a business. You actually, while you have a job, you should also consider having a part-time business rather than a part-time job because you can save more with your taxes. What we're saying is even if you are at home looking for a job, you can also start your business while you are looking, if that's what you want to do. And what you more than likely will find is that you will become a very successful with your business. Getting up, going to work every day, like my husband, because that's one thing, like Omara was saying, when I say I'm just the homemaker, well, I don't have to get up. You know, I can run the business from home. I sleep when as long as I would like to. Sometimes I feel so guilty because I've been so used to being in corporate America and getting up at a certain time to get in the rat race. Back in Chicago, growing up and starting as a young adult, working on Michigan Avenue, taking the train to work, being on time, you know, getting all the copy ready for the news stories. It was a very stressful. You think that, you know, life is just wonderful because you have this big job in news or media, but what you find is that it's just another job. It's just another day to get back into the rat race.
Well, you know, I had a assortment of jobs, and I guess it's probably my rebellious nature. You know, I just do not like to conform to. You have to be in at work at this time. You can take your lunch at this time. You can go home at this time. You know, and at this time and stage I was working, I didn't even have a cell phone. I couldn't imagine being at a job with a cell phone and, you know, then telling you cannot answer your cell phone while you're here at work. So, you know, most of us have a cell phone for emergency. Some have with our kids. But, you know, it just never suited my personality because I had an entrepreneurial spirit ever since I was a little kid. The one thing about being in direct sales, it will always pay you what you are worth. The more I found out I was worth, the more money I began to make. And that's actually a good thing. Nothing wrong with a job. No disrespect to those who have a job. A job is a necessary evil that I believe people have to have in order to provide for their families. But the great thing is that there's other avenues and other vehicles that will allow you to provide for your family without subjecting you to being at the whims of a boss.
Yes, and if you would like to know more about how you can become your own boss, please go to www.mrsconniereeves.com. That's www.mrsconniereeves, as in Victory, ES.com.
Well, I will say this, that, you know, if you want a better 2015 than you had in 2014, the only person that can change that is you. So if you're a listener on this show today, you want to be able to be understanding of that. That's number one. The second thing is that it only makes sense that if you're going to pay your bills for the rest of your life, why not be in a position of allowing those bills to turn into a paycheck and, of course, provide a tax shelter if you are a wage earner, to get more back from Uncle Sam at the end of the year. So, when I think about that, that naturally has to make this year better than the previous year. So that's simple. As far as starting a business, it's less than a week's pay. Very, very simple. So it's a minimal investment. And when we think about your ability to be surrounded by the right people, the key to success is who you surround yourself with. So, don't worry about, I've never done this, I'm afraid, it's sales, it's none of that. Here's what I know. The people that I talk to when I'm talking about our business will spend 3 to 5 minutes trying to sell me on the fact that they can't sell. I'll repeat that. People that have the fear of saying this is sales, in essence, are the very people at the end of a presentation that'll spend 3 to 5 minutes trying to sell me on the fact that they can't sell. So it's all about belief. And the best way to get belief is to get enrolled, as Mrs. Reeves has shared, dial into that website, look at the information, get into the system. At the end of the day, the worst case scenario is you're going to have a tax shelter, save some money, and make some money. And over 99% of the people that hold incredible income positions within our company, the reality is they had no prior experience whatsoever in any form of sales or marketing or direct sales. So don't let that be a reason why you don't get started.
It's just a thing of taking action. You have to make a choice. You can continue down the road that you're currently on, or you can make a choice to get some change in your life. And the only way that things are going to change is you have to make that change and make that decision.
Absolutely. According to this article in Black Enterprise, is much work still needs to be done as it relates to women's employment and wages amid the economic recovery. We want to help you. How has your experience been with your economic recovery? Please go to www.mrsconniereeves.com.
We would like for you to get money, make money, and save money.